I'm going to come out and say it. I was wrong. I was just wrong. I have, over the last probably about year and a half, 2 full postseasons, 2 about 1.5 NFL seasons, 2 full postseasons. I have said Josh Allen is the second best player in the world, said he's the second best quarterback. I have been very big on the Josh Allen train, partially because to me, it felt like he did things that other people just simply could not. And I still believe that, but I no longer believe he's number 2. To me, when you get into the all-time greatness category, it's not just who's the most prepared, who's the most well-coached. It's who are the guys who can simply do things that other human beings are not capable of. Who are the LeBron James, the Michael Jordans? Who are the guys like Ken Griffey Jr., who are just different even amongst other apex athletes? And we saw that on Sunday. I was watching Ravens-Bengals, and Joe Burrow played great. But Joe Burrow had a game that I know I'm going to see again. I know I'm going to see another quarterback who gets hot, has multiple weapons, is playing against a defense that currently coverage-wise is struggling, and he's going to put up 300-400 yards. He's going to put up 3 to 5 touchdowns. I know I'm going to see that again. And this is not discrediting Joe Burrow. But what I saw from Lamar Jackson, that is not normal. That is not something. The play he made where he fumbles the snap, stiff arms the defender, runs around and throws and gets the touchdown. That is a play only Lamar Jackson can make. Only Lamar Jackson can make that play. Kyler Murray can't make that play, even though he's also athletic. Mahomes, as great as he is at avoiding guys, I don't think he can make that play. That is a 1 of 1. So we also have to take account for Mahomes has clearly separated himself because resumes matter in this kind of thing. When guys start stacking up resumes that are not impeachable and, for the most part, not even comparable, Mahomes with 3 Super Bowls, all of his achievements, the multiple MVPs, he has clearly separated himself from everybody else. Fine. But then who has the second best resume in the league? It's the guy with 2 MVPs. Don't give me the crap about the postseason. Don't give me crap about him underperforming. Who else? No one actively playing has the postseason resume of Mahomes. Since Mahomes started winning, it's him, it's Brady, and it's Stafford. And Stafford isn't even really in the conversation because they're basically generations apart, and Brady is no longer playing. So when it comes to guys that are actively playing, that are in the conversation, Mahomes has removed himself from everybody. He has lapped the field. And Lamar Jackson's number 2. The 2-time MVP, playing like potentially like Derrick Henry said, potentially playing like his 3rd MVP. That guy is doing stuff. He did stuff you just cannot see. You cannot prepare for. Again, that Joe Burrow game was great. I will see that again 100 times before I leave this earth. That Lamar Jackson game, I don't know when the next time I'm going to see that from a quarterback not named Lamar Jackson. The Ravens, and we're going to talk about this later today too, were 0-2. And I came on here and I said, you know what? 0-2 doesn't mean shit. And why doesn't it? Because when you have great teams, great coaches, great players, and here's how I know, Tony's going to join us later today. We've talked about how dysfunctional Baltimore's coaching is at times. He isn't a fan anymore of John Harbaugh. He is not the biggest fan of Todd Monken. We have seen the product, which is the defense, which is underperformed, to put it nicely. And the Ravens are still 3-2 because they have number 8 at quarterback. This is why you pay these guys basically whatever they want. And when they're truly worth it, when they are truly this kind of talent, this kind of generational, people question Dak Prescott getting $60 million because he's nowhere near the talent of Lamar Jackson. We've had this quarterback conversation for the last couple years. And again, Mahomes has separated himself. He's number one. But out of the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, Lamar Jackson, to me, who I feel like that is the second tier of quarterback, and then you could start getting C.J. Stroud in that conversation, Lamar has separated himself from both Josh and Joe. And again, Josh played like crap yesterday. Joe played amazing. And I still walked away from that going, Lamar can do things I've just literally never seen in my life. That's the second best player on the planet. That's the second best. And again, second best player, not just even second best quarterback. Because we have to start accepting that when you say best football players alive, we almost always give the number one spot to a quarterback. And then we do this thing where unless the second guy is also unanimously great, Brady Manning, Brady Breeze, Brady Rodgers, a lot of times we like to say, well, the best defensive player is actually number two, or the best, offensive lineman, Trent Williams, he's maybe the second best player. No. Trent Williams is fantastic. Chris Jones is amazing. Patrick Surtain playing a fantastic best corner in the game. The second best football player in the world is Lamar Jackson. Without not even a question anymore. That guy, second best player in the world. Transition to a guy who used to be the second best player in the world. We have to stop doing this as media, as sports fans. And by doing this, I mean, let's stop lying or making up things. And even if we do, can we just all admit we're wrong? Like, is that so? Are we all so unbelievably stubborn as a community that we just won't admit when we're wrong? Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay, wins a Super Bowl. That's Tom Brady. Last I checked, and still currently stands, the greatest player in the history of the game. Oh, well, Matt Stafford also went to LA and then he won a Super Bowl. That was accompanied by maybe the greatest receiving season in history, Cooper Kupp, and maybe, looking back on it, one of the greatest head coaching jobs in what Sean McVay pulled off. Take those out, take one of the greatest coaching performances ever, take the greatest player ever out of it. Why are we expecting Aaron Rodgers, who is no longer a force multiplier, who is no longer a top 5, top elite quarterback, why are we expecting him at 40? He's already had a full career. He's already going to the Hall of Fame, all this stuff. Why are we surprised that he's struggling in New York as a 40-year-old? Why are we surprised past his prime he doesn't look as good? He throws more interceptions. He's not the same player. He's 40 coming off an ACL. We did the same thing, and I was there to witness it firsthand. We did the same thing with Russ. I did it with Russ. I'm raising my hand. I was wrong. Russ comes to Denver, and it's like, oh, well, he has this piece, and he has that piece. And it's like, oh, look, we saw Peyton Manning do it, another outlier, also younger than Aaron Rodgers. We saw Tom Brady do it, a clear outlier, the greatest player ever. We saw Matthew Stafford do it. Stafford was tremendously younger, plus had a better coach. At what point do we just stop saying, oh, yeah, great older quarterback or old quarterback who used to be great, new organization with like a couple of pieces. Oh, yeah, this is all just going to work. There's a reason why it was an anomaly when Tom did it. And there's a reason why that added to his all-time greatness and his legacy. There's a reason why we revere Tom as the GOAT. There's a, and then, well, again, we can't just keep giving that title to everybody. If it was the first time we've ever seen it, or if it was the most impressive thing we've ever seen, whatever it is, then you can't just, I say this is generational. We throw around generational for quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is generational. Caleb Williams is generational. Are they? Not saying they can't be good. Not saying they can't be great, but generational is a really big word. And generational is supposed to be a sacred word, only used every so often. The GOAT is a pretty sacred word. The GOAT player did something that was obviously unusual, obviously not something you should try to replicate, obviously not something that can be done by everyone. And now we just expect Aaron Rodgers, because he was elite, because he was at the pinnacle of the sport at one point in time. It's 2024. Well, he was an MVP a few years ago. He's had ACL surgery since then. And again, most athletes, when they lose it, they lose it. Peyton Manning was an MVP candidate. 2 years ago, he was getting benched for Brock Osweiler. 2 years later. Like, why are we expecting Aaron Rodgers to be this person that has just never existed besides Tom Brady? And guess what? Rodgers isn't Tom Brady.